Hello, Utility Fleet World. It's Kurt Norwood, Associate Publisher with Utility Fleet Professional Magazine with another episode of Under the UFP Hood. You know, May is your month, and we just had Earth Day in April. And so I thought it would be very appropriate, since I'm proud of our market of electric utility fleet managers and also municipality fleet managers and DOTs who are very aware of, they're leaders in driving EVs and the EV technology. So I'm very happy to welcome our guest, Scott Davidson of Revolv. Scott, welcome, and I've heard a lot of great things about your company.
Thanks so much, Kurt. Appreciate the invitation and the opportunity to speak to you and indirectly to your audience.
Yeah, please tell us about your company and tell us a little bit about Revolv and what makes Revolv a little bit different than just going to maybe a single source vendor.
Yeah, great question, Kurt. So Scott Davidson, CEO of Revolv. My primary focus is leading a team of exceptional individuals who are helping fleets move more quickly and confidently towards electrification. I would acknowledge that it's a bit of a confusing or overwhelming market at points in time for a lot. So our job is to help simplify that for many of our customers. We do that by bundling all the technology, hardware and software and solution providers into what looks like a full service turnkey solution where fleets buy transportation in the form of what they care about: economic parity or cost savings, operational uptime, and environmental performance, since we're in the month of May, as you alluded to. So what it looks like is a full fixed price contract that is over a long term. And what I'd come back to is there's a lot of moving pieces in that ecosystem. So our job is to help our customers focus on their core business.
That sounds excellent. And I'm going to tap into some of your expertise on that. The first thing I want to kind of talk about is vehicles. Can you share with us what's new in EV vehicles, what you're hearing out there, and what models are popular?
Yeah, what I can say is how excited I am to see the number of vehicles that are coming to the market and the quality of the manufacturers that are delivering those vehicles, because the quality of the experience for fleets is driven by those technology choices up front. So what I think is underappreciated in the market, Kurt, is how quickly technology change is happening. And by that, I mean the amount of range that is being added onto vehicles, the efficiency of those vehicles over time. So there's a narrative that happens into the market right now about it being too early for vehicles, but that is, the ground is very quickly moving underneath fleets. And that's our job, is to help our customers find the right technology to apply to the applications that matter most to end customers.
Yeah, I remember when the first EVs came out, and I like to share this story. They were just kind of like glorified golf carts, right? Now we have the EV Mustang, which I'm hearing from some of our readers. Some of their executives are driving those.
Yeah, and what we hear from our customers and the drivers of those customers is often surprised about how much they love driving those vehicles in many respects. And that what's most important for a fleet is to make sure the drivers have exceptional experiences. That's their office on a day-to-day. So EVs can be quieter, they can run more consistently, and if they're applied to the right application within a fleet, that is, an EV is not the best application for every purpose in a fleet, but when applied to the right application, they can be a win for fleets economically, operationally, and driver satisfaction. So I think we hear that a lot from direct fleets, is surprise about how much they like them.
Yeah, so you do not cater to one specific brand of vehicle, search all of them, or does if I was a fleet manager, would I tell you what EVs I prefer, or do you do the shopping for me?
We do the shopping for you. We warehouse that risk on behalf of our customers. So customers are looking at the market. They have their regular day job. They're trying to also track the technology landscape in terms of what's happening at the same time is very difficult. So what we do is we start by having a conversation with fleets about how are they using their vehicles, what markets, what facilities, what duty cycle, and then we start with that conversation. Then we look at the technology market, and we are agnostic when it comes to hardware or software on the vehicle and the charging side. And we say, let's go find the right suite of potential options to filter appropriately. We present those and we make the decision together. Well, this is the right vehicle for your application. We take care of the EV components. They take care of the upfit components that ensure that it operates effectively in their day-to-day.
So would you tell me what EV vehicles you recommend that I buy, or do you actually buy them and then I lease them from you, or there's some kind of arrangement there?
Great question. We acquire all the technology on your behalf, and we convert, which is what is a very expensive upfront cost, vehicle, upfit, charging infrastructure, all the rest. We bundle that all together into a single price lease payment for you. So you don't have to come out of pocket for it. We acquire and own and operate the vehicles on behalf of the customers. It's a dedicated vehicle that is for you as a fleet to use, and you don't have to come out of pocket for it.
Wow. After talking to a lot of our readers, I could see where that would take a lot off their plates.
Yeah. And what we like to say is we sit on the same side of the table as our customers. What our customers tell us over and over again is how much they love that we are there with them at the beginning of the process, during the delivery of the vehicles and the infrastructure, and then during operations in terms of driver training and helping them understand how to apply them in their fleet. We sit with them through that whole journey. We don't sell them a vehicle and walk away, or deliver a charging infrastructure and walk away. We have skin in the game as it relates to ensuring that it operates economically and uptime in the fleet. And I think that's the magic differentiation for us in the market is we're there along for the ride, right? It's not a set it and forget it for us.
How long have you been doing this? How long has your company been in business, and how long have you yourself been involved in the EV?
So 2020 was when we started in the business, and it's just amazing to see how much has changed even in that short period of time. The way that conversations have changed with customers too. We love the exchanges when we talk to customers for the second and the third time, because most of our customers try it on their own and they recognize how hard it is. I would say more than 60% of our customers have tried it and come to work with us because after doing it, they recognize how difficult it is. So we're just very fortunate for the team that we have that is focused in the different parts of the business, that is charging development, fleet management, fleet operations. And that is the secret sauce for us being able to deliver on our promise to customers.
Has your career been in EVs, or how did you get passionate about this?
I would say I've always been passionate about finding ways to work on hard problems, and climate has always been a hard problem. But before founding Revolv, I was focused on developing utility scale and C&I scale solar facilities. And many of your readers from the utility space will be familiar with this. And the model that we applied in the solar space around a power purchase agreement, converting products into a performance contract is very closely parallel with what we're doing in this space. That was the enabler in the solar market, was letting people buy kilowatt hours that are clean energy instead of buying panels and inverters and all the other things. And we think that that's the winning solution in this market. What fleets really want is economic and operational performance. They don't want EVs and chargers and managing utility bills. All of that is a means to the end, which what fleets really care about. And that's where we're focused on. And my background is uniquely suited to delivering performance contracts to end customers.
Yeah, I want to get back to the vehicles for a minute. I know there's several options for cars, light duty trucks, even vans. I know that there's some medium duty truck companies that have had EV trucks on the drawing board for a while. Are there any out there right now that are viable solutions? Because I mean, the tool of the trade in our market is the medium duty bucket truck.
Yeah. And I would say you're starting to see a lot of people step into the space. Traditionally, what has happened is the big OEMs are starting with the largest market opportunities. It's no surprise that Ford started with a pickup truck and went to a cargo van thereafter. But I think what you're going to see manufacturers do is start stepping into other adjacent parts of the business that is other different class of vehicles. That is, if you're Ford, like that 350 or otherwise, that has been converted into the applications that you're talking about. In the meantime, you're seeing a lot of like upstarts try to fill that need. So there's this relationship between new upstarts and coming up the value chain and traditional vehicle manufacturers coming down the chain. And I think you're going to have a meeting in the middle between the two. We are personally operating Class 2B to Class A trucks and our vehicle. There are technology options available for those specific needs, and that's finding somebody who can help you sort through the noise and the risk associated with different technology providers is critical, right? Because your technology choice that you make up front is something you live with on the back end, right? What could be lowest cost up front is not lowest cost in the total life cycle of the vehicle. And so that's, again, us having skin in the game helps fleets know that we're making a technology choice that's in the performance interest of the fleet.
That sounds good. You know, I want to shift over to chargers and charging. I hear level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, etc. Is there a rule of thumb like level 1 for a car, level 2 for a light duty truck, level 3 for medium duty truck? I mean, is there any kind of like a rule of thumb that goes along with the levels and the size of the vehicle?
Yeah, there is a relationship. There's two factors in terms of finding the right size of charger. One is the size of the battery, right? The bigger the battery, the more is required to charge it. So size of the battery is number one. And two is the length of the duty cycle, therefore the length of the dwell time of the vehicle. That is, if you have a vehicle with a medium-sized battery that is sitting idle between use cases for long periods of time, you can use a level 2 charger, right? But if you have a vehicle that is used, is slip-seated, use multiple seat shifts through the vehicle, and it has short durations of time, you might need a faster charger associated with it. So it is really closely tied to the way the vehicle is configured and how it is being used. And that's one of the things that we help fleets figure out is what size charger, what type of charger, how are you using the vehicles? Because those decisions that you make up front will have operational impacts to the vehicle itself.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. I'm glad that you brought up that your background is with solar, because at the trade shows, I'm seeing more solar chargers. And to me, that just seems like the way to go.
Yeah, I think solar will have, will be part of the solution. Especially for certain applications, the challenge with solar is around density, energy density, right? In terms of how much solar energy can you collect relative to the amount of power that you need from those chargers. Everybody loves the story of solar panels charging EVs, and I think it makes sense in the right application, but not all applications. And I think that's going to be the important thing, is to recognize where to apply such a solution.
Yeah, I could definitely see them being out in the field, especially our readers are working in construction sites, work sites that, if there was a trailer, with a solar EV charger, kind of like the way they pull behind cable reels and
Yeah.
equipment, that would definitely take away any kind of range anxiety or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think the easiest way to solve range anxiety is just to make sure, this is something I learned early in the fleet process, was from one of our veteran advisors, was to say it's all about right vehicle, right application, right? So the way to remove range anxiety is just to put the vehicle in a place where it can be operationally successful. So there's no reason, most of our customers don't have range anxiety because they know the vehicle will perform, because they know the rules of how to apply it. And as vehicles increase their performance, which they will, and decrease their costs, which they will, more vehicles are going to make sense. And that's the real exciting thing that's sitting in front of us, Kurt, is the opportunity that sits in front of fleets. A lot of people are talking about it because they have to do it. But the leading fleets, the fleets that we're talking to, our customers, are doing it because they know the opportunity is coming. And it's, the environment is an upside. The real opportunity is around economic and operational value. And that's the thing that I'm most excited about, is as technology changes, it's not going to be a political issue. It's going to be an economic issue. And that's the real exciting thing that's in front of us for us to be able to see come to life.
Yeah, at the NTEA work truck show, I attended a press conference, and there was a HVAC company fleet manager up in Canada, and he was talking about what a great experience he had, and that just not just to be green, but that he was gaining some economic traction with it.
Yeah, it's not surprising that, and I think it's really about our mindset of preparing for the future. Fleets have been preparing for the future for a long period of time. So it relates to looking at new technologies about how to apply them to make themselves more efficient. And I think the fleets that our customers who are taking that mindset are going to be out of fun in the next 5 years, and other people are going to be racing to catch up. So I just think it's a really exciting space that's going to have a lot of change in a relatively short period of time.
So anybody who listens to my podcast knows that I like the outdoors. I like celebrity encounters. So I like to kind of break things up with have our guest tell either a animal encounter or a celebrity encounter. Have you had any of those?
Wow. What I would say is I'm celebrity blind, if that's a real thing, is that I could be standing next to a celebrity, and in most cases, I won't even know it. So I think that my best celebrity encounter happened without my knowledge, is the first thing I'd say. So I'm going to default to animal encounter if I could. I grew up in a rural area, and we had a cottage north of there, like a small little family cottage. Now winterized, could see through the boards, and bears were a common presence there. It was like a regular occurrence to have bears in it, and I can remember almost on a monthly occurrence where somebody would leave out something that they're not supposed to, only a screen-in porch, and bears constantly pressed up against that screen-in porch. And the most extreme version of that story is a bear came through the screen-in porch, and we found them in the kitchen eating the thing that should have been left out on the counter. And you can only imagine how the rest of the story unfolded in terms of how do you get a bear on an enclosed space other than just to wait until it became full or bored. So needless to say, the person who was responsible for the infraction is very responsible about what she's about now.
So how did you finally get the bear out of the house? Did it just finally leave on its own?
It got full and lost interest for the most part. But doors were closed. There was a lot of peace and quiet in that cottage for a short period of time. So.
Well, I got to give you an award. We've had bear stories on the podcast before, but never ones where they got in the house.
Yeah, it's the upside and downside of having a screened-in porch is easily accessible. So
That's a good one. Well, back to business. Some of my meetings with our readers and attending conferences, I've heard that they're working on standardization for chargers and EV vehicles. Can you give us an update? Are they making any progress on that?
yeah, I think we're starting to see some standardization, but it's not only in terms of the design of chargers, which really important is around the communication between chargers, what they call interoperability of the communications between the chargers and the vehicles. And I think we're starting to see some traction, and there's a blog post on our website if people are interested in taking a look at it, where one of our team members talks about those interoperability challenges and what needs to be done to address them. Because when you think about it, Kurt, if a driver is throwing the keys for a vehicle to do their daily work, they need it. They need things to work, right? They can't, any point of friction for a driver in a day-to-day makes things more difficult, is going to make it more difficult for them, for the program to be successful. So we're starting to see some good traction on interoperability, but we would say there's more ground to cover there.
Okay. And then you talked earlier about the technology. I've heard about software that you can use that lowers your electric bill to charge vehicles, because maybe it charges the vehicle during lower electric rate times. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, we actively use it in our fleet. We actively use various manufacturers' chargers to be able to manage the timing of when vehicles charge. And it's really important because if electricity is 40% of OpEx, operating expenditures for electric vehicles, which it typically is. And as your listeners will know, the price of electricity can vary dramatically during the course of a day. So when you charge and how you manage is really important in terms of achieving that economic parity piece. And again, that's something that most fleets don't want to think about. They're used to showing up at a gas station and filling up. They don't want to be thinking about what the cost of electricity is during the day. So that's what we try to take on for customers, is to say, we'll commit to you that you'll have a fixed price and we'll manage the variability and volatility associated with those things. But software is going to be a really important element of helping solve a lot of these challenges.
In kind of wrapping up, I want to tap into your expertise. If you could look into the crystal ball, what does the future look like?
I think I maybe come back to something I said before. I think people are underestimating how much of an economic opportunity there is around fleet electrification. I think, and so if I look into the crystal ball, what I see with relative clarity is a future where EVs are going to be the preferred choice in certain applications. We say this to our customers, we are purists in terms of what we do. We just do electrification, zero-emission vehicles, but we are not purists in the sense that we believe that that is the only solution. Internal combustion is going to continue to have an important function in fleets. So I think what we're going to see is faster adoption than people think. And most importantly, a lot of the fleets who have moved quickly and invested now in the capabilities they're going to need in the future are going to be better positioned in the eyes of their customers, in the eyes of their drivers, and just in the eyes of their finance department when it comes to performance.
On your website, I saw the term ZEV. Is that zero?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a ZEV and an EV, or is that just kind of a term that you guys?
Sometimes zero emission vehicles could also be other forms of hydrogen vehicles and others that will be part of the application. We expect we see hydrogen as having a potential solution for different applications that require greater energy density, but we're laser focused on the EV component at this point in time.
Wow. Well, this has been a great overview of the market, Scott. how can our listeners and our UFP readers get a hold of you to get more information and tap into your expertise?
Well, I would encourage people, as I referenced earlier, our website, Revolv, REVOLV, no.us. That is Revolve Us, like to Revolve Us. You can find contact information on the website. You can also find a continuing list of resources that we publish as it relates to our learnings in the market. So we encourage people to follow that. Feel free to reach out to the website if you have questions. And we'd love to connect with you. If we can't help people immediately, we're still excited to be part of the conversation and to help your readers start to think about the space maybe differently.
Well, again, I want to thank Scott Davidson, the CEO of Revolv, for taking time out of his busy schedule to be on our podcast. Thanks again, Scott, so much.
Thank you, Kurt. It was a real pleasure to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about what we do, and we'll look forward to staying in touch.
Yep, and I just want to remind everybody to roll safe out there.
The views, information, and opinions expressed during this podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Utility Business Media and its employees. It is strongly recommended that you discuss any actions or policy changes with your company management prior to implementing.